All right, with p of x being x minus 3 and q of x being x squared, let's do a bunch of arithmetic with those functions. So first of all, with p plus q, that means take p of x and add it to q of x. P of x is just x minus 3. Q of x is x squared. Then you should simplify it. In this case, that just means writing it in order, x squared plus x minus 3. For p of x minus q of x is the same idea. We'll take p of x and subtract the x squared off of that. Putting it in order, we have negative x squared plus x minus 3. Now with multiplication and division, it's the same thing. P times q means p, x minus 3, times q, x squared. Now the simplification process of this is a little bit more involved because we have to distribute the x squared. And x times x squared is x cubed. And negative 3 times x squared is minus 3x squared. For division, same idea. Take p of x, which is x minus 3, and divide it by q of x, the x squared. And there's nothing we can do to simplify this, so that's done. Then I'll have you take the composition of both functions in both directions. So first of all, p of q of x means p of q of x, which is x squared. So I'm going to take that x squared and plug it into p of x, which said x minus 3. So instead of x minus 3, I'm going to use this x squared minus 3. And that will be the expression, x squared minus 3. For q of p, that means we're going to take p of x, the x minus 3, and plug it into q this time. Well, q was x squared, so we're going to square x minus 3, which means foiling, okay, because x minus 3 squared is x minus 3 times x minus 3. And if you tell me that that's equal to x squared plus 9, it's definitely wrong, because when we FOIL x minus 3 times x minus 3, we get x squared minus 6x plus 9. And then, are they inverses? Well, the only way for two functions to be inverses is if the compositions of functions in either direction are equal to x. And since this is equal to x squared minus 3 and x squared minus 6x plus 9, no, they're not inverses. This type of question is one from a little ways back, finding p of x plus h. Now notice this is the composition of functions, but not of composing p and q. Instead, we're just going to take that x plus h and plug it into p. P was x minus 3, so instead of x, we're going to use x plus h. This will simplify to x plus h minus 3. When it comes to q, q of x plus h means x plus h squared. Squaring that, remember it's not x squared plus h squared because we have to take x plus h times x plus h, and that'll give us x squared plus 2xh plus h squared.